तो कहाँ है? अंधेरी से मंगा रहा है?
पागल हो सर, मैंने बनाना लीव किया
60 मिनट्स बोल रहा था अंधेरी से आने में, उतना टाइम लगेगा?
बैंड्रा से भी आएगा,
उतना लगता
ये
है?
सांता क्रूज से आएगा.
It's raining.
We are live, by the way.
We are live and we ordered food also.
Yeah.
And there is a
Tasty
trade
food.
deal that has happened also.
Guess what food we've ordered? Guess in the comments.
यार ये बड़ा वो है
हाँ.
कि ये कौन मेरा अच्छा वो okay, here's a clue
क्या?
for somebody who guesses it.
हाँ.
And whoever guesses it right, Sajeet will order the same dish for that person.
ठीक है, done.
No, kidding.
हाँ.
But okay, no, just for fun, okay. The clue is this: that the dish resembles or is the replica of a very famous restaurant in Bandra in Mumbai. Now that's a really big clue. Figure it out. The dish name and the restaurant name are the same.
If my wife was watching this, then she would have got it. I'm sure.
Then you can take her there.
चलिए बहुत बात करने की जरूरत है आज तो, बहुत चीजें हो गई.
Yeah.
Should we start with paints?
Paints, markets, paints, बहुत कुछ
markets
चल
पे एक छोटी सी comment.
हाँ.
So one, it's playing out as per script. Gautam Shah came in today, right? So we were talking about it and told him also, okay, यार last time तू जब आया था, you had said 25,600. Eerily enough, it is 25,600 right now. So what's next? Thankfully, he was not like, "Arey, now he said 26,200 the working target, which is Lawrence Balanco's target as well, 26,333 मोटा मोटी. ऐसा नहीं है कि यहाँ से बाद में all time highs के बाद छप्पर फाड़ के 27,000. Okay, that shouldn't happen ideally in the market.
Smile दिख रहे हो आप? सजीत सर
क्या हुआ?
आपके चेहरे पे small smile दिखा, इसके लिए मैंने point डाल दिया.
The only the place where we differed slightly, not that I differed on air, but he mentioned that तमन्ना asked him that भाई निफ्टी का ईयर एंड का टारगेट दो, तो ईयर एंड बहुत नजदीक है, doesn't matter, but 2 year I believe will hit 28,400.
2 years.
2 years.
तुमने तो एक साल का रख दिया था.
मैंने तो अभी भी दे रहा हूँ. मैं वो भाई
400 पॉइंट
टारगेट नहीं. हाँ 400
पॉइंट कम है.
मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ
मतलब कि उसके बाद सिर्फ एक साल लगेगा, 400 पॉइंट एक ही साल घूमे.
यार पता नहीं है ना कितना हो सकता है. लॉजिकली मैं बोल रहा हूँ 28,000. अभी तो आप ही भी बोल रहे हैं कि 28,000 by Diwali next year, right?
By the way, you
I'm
should
not a
put
technical
that, pin that video of.
Yeah, he's given a lot of things. He said one very big thing as well. He believes that $3,500 is the intermediate top for gold.
$3,500.
$3,500.
A lot of people are saying that. Now,
including Sajeet Manghat.
Turn against consensus, not sure, but
geopolitics.
A lot of people
stress is slightly lower.
But then, अगर stress is lower, then it will take time for it to reach 3,500.
Yeah, 3,500 hit होके वापस आया ना सर. तो बोल रहा है intermediate top है. संदीप टंडन ने भी यही बोला by the way. So that's on markets broadly.
Understand how silver is rallying. Silver has
rallied
very well. No? I'm just opening that. But because we spoke about gold, silver is as is around 14% up.
But I was surprised by yesterday's afternoon rally, which happened basically.
Why?
In the sense, 12,000 crores of foreign money which came in, and I think it was just like a passive fund ETF coming in and buying financials. Simple as that. HDB Bank, SBI, Kotak, Shriram.
पर मजा आ गया सर, तेजी देख के मजा आ गया frankly.
हाँ, but वो कल
पोर्टफोलियो में तेजी नहीं थी.
पोर्टफोलियो में नहीं थी तेजी. पोर्टफोलियो में नहीं थी तेजी.
सिर्फ निफ्टी
में थी.
बट
सिंपल.
मजा आ गया मतलब देख के.
वहां पर जिसने जो कॉल लेके बैठा होगा सब अटक गए ऑन द एक्सपायरी डे.
कॉल बेच के राइट.
हाँ, writers got stuck badly in the afternoon.
Yeah, smart swift uptick. But yeah, ठीक है. Yeah, you just need the Nifty to keep on doing this, right, and not correct too fervently, and therefore the broader market portfolios will continue to do well. यार तेजी देखो, मतलब in the sense the way the blocks are getting bought into. We speak of blocks getting bought into, right? कल एक SME कंपनी है जिसमें मलाबार इंडिया फंड सुमित नागर bought 10% equity at one go, and this is not a block on offer. This is a guy telling the company कि I'm willing to buy. There was no block on offer, right? They didn't put out this thing on block, etc. and stuff like that. One guy buying out 10% of the equity, an EMS player. So, मतलब बहुत पैसा है मार्केट में आने के लिए, which we were speaking about, right? End of May, 2 lakh crores, mutual funds buying into it. Tahir Badshah of Invesco today sent me a message he had done some interview in May 2020, wherein May 20th, 2025, wherein he gave out this thing that the markets may hit all-time highs very, very soon. And he was saying that very short way away from all-time highs. So I'm happy this call has worked out. And usko pucha to bhi next call kya hai, abhi batao. So let's see what he has.
28,000 in 1.5 years.
2 years. 2 years.
No, 2 years. Gautam Shah 28,400.
1 year. Next September you said, na?
Diwali 2026.
No, but point being, guys. So if and just zooming out a little bit, if in March when there was that entire chaos around mid stocks being overvalued, had you just discontinued your SIPs, or had you even worse sold out of some of the SIPs you've done, you've missed on a 20% rally. That is huge.
I agree with you in terms of numbers, the 20%, but many of the mid-cap stocks lost 40-50% also. Yeah, means the point is that 50% नीचे गिरा, 20% ऊपर रैली कर गया. आप बोल रहे हो कि रैली है.
मेरा पॉइंट ये, आपने अगर वो लेवल पे सिप करके उसके बाद
सिप रखा होगा तो सिप रखा होगा तो you have been better.
And we kept saying here that you should keep your SIP. No way, SIP investing can't change. So
but
therefore,
do you
I'm
think
only
that
talking
there's
about
a
SIPs.
fatigue coming in small and mid cap?
नहीं, मुझे तो लगता है कि as long as the Nifty level stays true, यार वही सोचो ना यार, beyond 250 को आप क्या बोल रहे हो, मुझे वो बताओ. आप 100 top 100 को ये बोल रहे हो, 100 to 250 and 250 to 500 को आप small cap बोल रहे हो. So beyond 500 को क्या बोल रहे हैं हम? Micro caps. So no fatigue in micro caps. Let's put it that way. मैं इसलिए be very careful. But वहीं पे growth है यार. Look at the growth that is coming in, and look at the average market cap. What do you? I mean, I don't know the number. I'm not trying to test you, but अंदाजा लगा रहा हूँ कि आप कोई भी the 500th stock on the BSE or the NSE whatever, उसका market cap क्या होगा?
तो मैं आपको बताऊँ कि माइक्रो कैप का टोटल मार्केट कैप जो है,
नहीं वो नहीं, पहले मेरे जवाब का आंसर दो ना सर. आप जवाब का आंसर कोई दूसरे जवाब से मत दो, कुछ पता
नहीं. मैं आपको टोटल मार्केट कैप बता देता हूँ आपको. आई थिंक उसमें है रफली 89 लाख का माइक्रो कैप में आता है टोटल मार्केट कैप उसका. अगर आप टॉप 500 का भी आपको देखोगे, आपको बेसिकली वही चाहिए ना. तब बेसिकली स्मॉल कैप माइक्रो कैप का पहला नंबर कौन सा है आपको ये देखना है. तो 12,000 करोड़
पक्का.
12,000 crore
is the
number one micro cap.
है ना?
Allied
blenders. So this is so think of it this way, right? That 12, it's the micro cap universe as well has multiple companies which will be over $1 billion, and that's not low liquidity.
True.
$1 billion is small now, but $1 billion are not.
Means the threshold is what, $500 million market cap and 25% liquidity. पर यहाँ पर $1 billion के ऊपर है, $1.5 billion है, तो you already have $500 million of.
I think that AUMs have also gone up so much that if you go to buy a 12,000 crore market cap company, which is 50% promoter held, that means only 6,000 crore in free float, and then you want to buy a decent percentage allocation within that
for a mutual fund, right?
For an AUM, for a mutual fund, sorry. Yes, it becomes slightly challenging for some which have really grown.
No, but that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm trying to make is this, that if we are talking about whether there is fatigue in small caps, I'm saying there isn't, right? Because if your 501st stock is 12,000 crore market cap, and here's a noted investor who invests in mid caps and small caps, buying 140 crores worth of stock in a business which is worth 1,250 crore rupees market cap. Is there fatigue here? No. Yeah. You need to find the opportunity. Yes. Simple hai.
Of course.
Simple hai. Parth Jindal ne Akzo Nobel mein opportunity find out kar liya.
That's a very good acquisition for JSW Paints, but it also consolidates the market for them. 10% market share they'll get.
Big time.
At the bottom of the market, almost at the bottom.
Grasim entering, Asian Paints already having a large market share. Now you have a big player like JSW putting money behind an industry which was till a few years back dominated by only one player. यार ये तो लोचा है.
ये लोचा बहुत बड़ा है.
Buy at any price.
आपके एशियन पेंट्स के लिए बहुत बड़ा लोचा है ये.
मेरे एशियन पेंट्स के नहीं. So this morning when I marked Akzo Nobel, and just purely math, okay. Morning when I marked Akzo Nobel, it opened down marginally in the red, and it just involuntarily blurted out. I don't usually like saying this. Already blurted out that it can't be this way. The stock will move higher, and the reason was very simple, yaar. Trailing 12-month P देखा मैंने. Berger 56, Asian Paints 58. This one was 33.
Yeah.
Right? They bought it at a lower price, but ignore that. Yeah. Current market cap, it was 33 P. Trailing. 5% अगर flat खुला तो 33 पे ही था. 4-5% ऊपर खुला तो 33, 35 हो गया. That is at 55. Even if the sector as a whole were to derate, and the average multiples come down from 55 to 45.
45. मतलब 30% derating की बात कर रहे हो.
फिर भी Akzo Nobel के लिए, which is trading at 35
at
times,
a discount.
It is at a discount, and now instead of a sleepy MNC or a laid back MNC or not a high growth focused MNC, like I'm not trying to cuss the MNC. I'm just saying that Akzo Nobel hasn't had the most splendid growth, right?
Correct.
So it's a slow growing MNC promoter की जगह पे, an aggressive promoter coming in with distribution, this thing, strength also, or what do you call it? What's that thing?
Synergies.
With
cement and with all of those businesses, it has
Steel.
just brilliant. Steel. Exactly. Steel, cement, everything.
And
the
being
entire
a
value
big
chain.
captive user of paints.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
MG Motors.
Yes.
Cement plants, steel plants, everything.
MG Motors is into coated paints, which is not part of the
Akzo नहीं करता है.
Akzo करता है, पर it's going back. It's going back to the parent.
Oh,
so
okay.
only the
Thank you for correcting me.
Only the decorative paint is being acquired by it. So the India coated business and the R&D facility is going back to the parent Akzo Nobel.
Oh, okay, interesting. So, but they will operate in India or no?
They operate in India.
They will continue to operate
currently
in
part
India.
of Akzo Nobel India.
And they will continue to operate in India.
They continue to operate.
Okay, fine. So, चलो, तो I stand corrected on that. But फिर भी, बहुत aggressive promoter है ना? They will go out and say.
That is true.
But how do you play this? Sorry, because it's not the listed entity which is acquiring this. Right?
So if you look at
this, so if you by Akzo Nobel.
No. So okay. So there are.
If you want to play.
No. So there are two things which is going to play out. I think one is that it's been acquired. JSW Paint is owned by the Sergeant General's Family Trust.
Not JSW Holdings.
No.
You're sure of this?
Yes.
Okay,
it's not. That's what I was also.
JSW still has 12.8% stake in it. Because over the last 3 years, they have infused 750 crores. So they have a 12.8% stake in it. Now this $1.5 billion, which is 12,000 plus crores of investment, which is going into them. You assume that 70-30 means do it. So roughly around 3,000 odd crores of equity infusion has to come into JSW Paints for them to acquire it. Which basically means that there will be some pressure on JSW Steel because JSW Steel is the only cash cow in the group with free operating cash flow, which is coming in that sense.
So your hypothesis is that they will have to fund it via issuing capital from JSW Steel,
and
they can't raise capital at the JSW Paints level.
No, it's a small company, in that sense. For the 9-month period FY25, the revenue was only 1,500 crores.
पर सर होल्डिंग में तो पैसा जाएगा ना.
होल्डिंग कहाँ से आ गया?
It's an unlisted holding company which is going to buy JSW.
It is JSW Paints which is acquired.
Paints is owned by a holding company, right?
Paints is owned by Sergeant General Family Trust.
Correct. So the trust can always infuse fresh equity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
What is the big deal?
Yeah, but where will the trust infuse 12,000 odd crores?
Dividend का पैसा आएगा.
कितना dividend देता है JSW Steel?
I'm just hypothesizing. I'm not looked at the numbers.
So
I may be completely wrong.
No. My point is that yes,
or
money
even
can.
More interestingly, sir, JSW Paints could reverse merge into Akzo Nobel.
That is what I was coming to the second.
That could be.
Yeah, but even then, someone has to pay Akzo Nobel the $1.5 billion, na?
See,
I would see
correct.
See, what is going to happen is that, of course, there's going to be some funding infusion in JSW Paints, and through that, you're going to acquire Akzo Nobel and debt, which will come in.
I'm sure.
And then JSW Paints will reverse merge into Akzo Nobel, and because the stake would be higher than 75% for the entire promoters, in that sense, they will come out with an OFS where they sell and they deleverage the company or the parent in some fashion.
Barabar.
That's the structure. It's going to come in. That's a playout which is going to happen in that sense.
No,
but in the short term, there will be some kind of contribution that has to come from JSW Steel.
My point being, JSW Steel has fairly aggressive
capex
plans for itself.
Yes.
I don't know if the shareholders or the board will be agreeable to such a large, quote unquote, unrelated diversification. And therefore, is that the logical and the simplest way for the JSW group to do this? Yes. Could they still do it? Yes. Will they do it?
The question mark.
The question mark. I would suspect there's
a question mark. Just a while back we were talking about synergies.
I don't mind one either. Thank you.
Just a while back we were talking about synergies in the group, and so we have to look at it from the point of view. You're looking at which is made in India.
No, I'm just that I know it's made in India. I was just looking at it with sugar.
So that's the thing which we have to look at. What's going to happen and how the funding is going to happen for this entire thing. Of course, I'm not saying that the Sargent Jindal Trust doesn't have the capacity to do it. They have the capacity to do it, but even if they're going to raise debt, it will be either through pledging of the shares of the group companies or any you have to put security there in that sense.
How high is Akzo Nobel right now? Sorry, is it
10% up? I think last I checked. But
okay,
quickly while we are checking that. Appreciation posts have come.
Just rounding off this point. So therefore, the way to, if you are constructive on this move, then Akzo Nobel might not be a bad way to play this. Just keep in mind that the paints industry itself will now see excessive competition and therefore maybe margin pressures for all players.
By the way, this slight hope here because there's a standstill agreement which is coming into play because of this acquisition. Until the time the entire acquisition is not complete, which will take at least 6 to 9 months, I think. There's nothing going to change at Akzo Nobel as such. So I don't think Akzo Nobel will be as aggressive in the next 6 to 9 months. It will be a business as usual, but not aggressive in the market in terms of pricing or anything of that sort, which will impact. So my understanding is that कि standstill का मतलब आप
मुझे तो लगता है ये लोग चालू कर देंगे काम सजीत, because I'll tell you why my small hypothesis, and then we go to the appreciation post. I doubt JSW Group believes that any shareholder will tender in the open offer. They know it, they won't.
The stock has gone up 10% now already.
That too, right? So simple. So that's not going to happen. So they're not going to play loose. They'll say, boss, let's get Akzo Nobel start delivering. You start supplying to us. तब सब कुछ करने लोगों हम सीधा Akzo Nobel के through ही करते हैं सब कुछ. You start using our delivery points, etc., and all of that. So when they take over, the whole thing is set.
By the way, Akzo Nobel has better delivery point than JSW paints.
Better नहीं, but आपके पास 10 है और JSW के पास 3 है, तो आप 13 तो हो गया ना.
So it's trading at 3451, which is almost close to the open offer price.
Open offer price is 27 something.
No, 3014 if I'm not wrong.
फिर भी. So it's not almost close. It's 12-13% lower. Who will tender in the open offer? I mean, if I was a shareholder, I wouldn't, right?
3417 is the open offer price.
3417. Oh, okay.
And fine. This is 3450.
Okay, you're right.
So it's almost at the open offer.
Interesting. So they did the transaction at 2700, but the open offer to the minority shareholders is coming at 3400, which is actually not bad. It's a good corporate governance thing. They're not like just giving it.
And the SEBI formula also.
How can the SEBI formula price it higher?
Open offer. 7 days or 15 days average, whichever is higher.
And they have the chance to take it higher than that, right? So I'm saying they have done it higher than that, right? Because the
average, the rate at which they have bought it.
Akzo Nobel, you're saying, has come off in the recent past. Okay, sorry. Fine. Off color today.
Yes.
What else? Appreciation posts.
Yes. Let me come straight to that. So we have Vimal Varshni who's saying, good to see the OG team back. Thank you. Know your market more. Niraj sir, bull market is back. Okay. We have Kinshuk Bharadwaj who's saying, good to see the OG3 back for the banter. Couple of ideas for discussion. Is the weak summer for OEM, ODM like EPAC fully priced in? Any views on Garware High Tech with change in business model? Garware High Tech, frankly, I don't have a view. But OEM, ODM, I know you have a view. So,
no, I mean, see, so for example, the transaction that is the transaction that I spoke about is also an EMS player, which is into supply of compressors to air cooling companies. I don't know, there are mixed views. So for the very short term, there could be some moves here and there, right? Because
the summer thing has been factored
in, but monsoon mein zyada hota nahi hai. So therefore, the very short term difficult to say, but over the long term, fully factored in, yes, because abhi bhi kitna underpenetrated category hai. And ask yourself, no, and you, me, or anybody, the first thing that you want is the aircon. So no matter where you are, right? Everybody wants an aircon. It's a necessity and no longer a luxury. So yeah, I would reckon over the long term, fully priced it.
Sorry, can you take questions? I'm actually
Yes.
looking at one of the questions.
Aishman Lalani, he's asking what's your view on NTPC Green? What's the impact of tariff reduction in Maharashtra? What will especially for the generation company? I don't think there's going to be any impact on generation companies because they already have power purchase agreements for multi years in advance, right? And the reason why the power prices in Maharashtra is coming down is because they are moving towards a higher proportion of renewable energy in the entire mix, and that's why the rates are going to come down by as much as 26% over the next 3 to 5 years. That's what the chief minister has said in Maharashtra. So Mumbai is not going to be impacted in any way because in Mumbai you basically have you have Tata Power, you have Adani Power, and then I think the erstwhile BACS, no, MSEB, there's a small portion which is there. So whichever area is under the MSEB, MSEB is the old name, the new name is something else, it will be impacted because their power purchase agreements are now tuned in such a way that they're taking a higher proportion of renewable energy. So they're looking at 30-40% of renewable energy as part of the entire mix. So as renewable energy goes up, the best thing about renewable energy is that you have a fixed price for multi years.
तो impact नहीं आएगा आप बोल रहे
impact नहीं आएगा.
Okay,
What
fine.
happens in thermal is that there's a pass through of fuel costs and everything which comes in this because of which you have prices going up for the public on a deferred basis. So I don't think there's going to be impact there.
Okay.
Know your markets more, sir. Where will HDB financial share go in 3 months from now?
See, difficult to call 3 months, frankly, and that's a tough spot to be in. But I know I heard what Aditya Shah had to say a couple of years back.
What's the valuation, Hersh?
My view is
your view
that he suggested it's 3.7 times. I agree with him. It's 3.7 times, but that's trailing 12 months, and that is pre-money. Pre-money essentially means that before the fund infusion, that's the price to book value. That's not the right way to look at it.
Yeah.
The right way to look at it is after you are buying, what is the price to book? And after you're buying, the price to book is 3.3 times, which doesn't look particularly expensive. It doesn't look cheap either, but doesn't look particularly expensive.
What is BAF at?
BAF is at 5 times.
And what is the asset quality or the key material differences between HDB and BAF? Because I remember 2017-18, everybody used to compare that with the next BAF.
Huge.
Huge. Okay.
So BAF has a 4.5% ROA. HDB has at the top end 3.2% ROA.
Okay.
बहुत फर्क है. It's not a comparable. I'll give you the exact valuation of BAF because I pulled it out yesterday, but I've forgotten. I'm sorry.
BAF is Bajaj Finance, by the way.
Yeah, and we had the management of HDB Financial coming and we spoke to them.
Yeah, I mean, effectively saying that we will continue to grow at a good pace. The long and short of everything that he said was that we continue to grow at a good pace.
And
so Bajaj Finance 1 year forward is 5 times.
So
1 year forward.
But 3.3 is a decent valuation.
So 40% discount to that, but you're also getting a book which is slightly more choppier in terms of asset quality cycle
compared to BAF.
Compared to BAF, yes.
So size-wise, Bajaj Finance, what would be the largest?
1/4 of BAF.
1/4 of BAF. 1/4.
HDB is...
Yes, 1/4 of BAF, of course.
BAF.
And what comes between BAF and HDB? Any other NBFC? Any idea, roughly?
Shriram
and all are bigger than HDB.
Yes, they're bigger than HDB.
But in the best part
and you should go watch KYC because we compared valuations and everything.
Yeah, I think we did it yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we also...
Sir, आप KYC के अलावा और कोई शो करते हैं? आप हर एक चीज पे सिर्फ KYC की बात करते हैं? ऐसा कैसे?
सर प्यार है वो शो से, सो इसके लिए करते हैं।
अभी 2 बजे मैं नहीं बैठूंगा फिर।
But yeah, so and we had the analyst also who came in and who said this, that valuations can't be looked at current. You have to look at it 1 year forward, and 2 year forward he's penciling in 2.5 times price to book and 2.9 times 1 year forward. So मेरा भी तो math है.
So he is assuming
conservative है sir.
नहीं so he is assuming कि price तो बढ़ेगा ही नहीं.
Valuations are never looked at that way, no sir.
No, I'm just saying.
Look at it as of today.
So even if you assume,
this is day 3, you can still subscribe to
No, I'm trying to say that even if you maintain a 3 times book for 2 times forward, the price will go up. If you adjust the price, you will see कि price क्या है. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Right? And the book is growing at
it certainly
20%.
expensive.
Book is growing at 20% every year. That's a conservative way of HDFC Group working at 20%.
And I believe they've left some money on the table for investors as well. I believe so. That they've left some money on the table for investors. Some. Maybe not as attractive as a Bajaj housing, but some money they've left on the table.
So they will have a price to book value, adjusted book value around what, 300 or so in 2 years. Will that be a fair assessment?
No, sir. No.
260.
So it's 199 current, which is FY25.
25.
FY26 EPS will be around 25 to 30 rupees. And FY27 be 25 to 30 rupees. Ginke chalo conservative. So
260
around 15%
260
off from whatever.
So means even if you maintain 3, so it will be around 750 to 800 rupees after 2 years. Simple as that.
By the way, so Hersh couldn't agree with Aditya Shah. I couldn't agree or disagree with Aditya Shah because we couldn't hear him.
But I was screaming. I was watching it and screaming. I was wondering what is into this guy. I'm like, नहीं ये गलत है sir, आप गलत बोल गए.
अच्छा, अगला सवाल. News for AB Capital. Company suffered a cyber attack. Is there anything to worry about?
I mean, पता नहीं है, but होते रहता है.
I think companies are now have to take precautions for cyber attacks, right? The only issue is the data issue. We on QSR, sir. Not that nobody is focusing on this space. Is it good time to invest? QSR.
I don't know. I mean, my personal
there
belief
has been
is
a revival in Q4 for sure in QSR.
Yeah, but my personal belief that a lot of what cloud kitchens are doing is hurting all of these guys.
Yes, that's true.
And now, by the way, I know of a firm which is thinking of bringing a brand to India. A pizza brand to India. And they, in their business plan, if there's a plan to open 200 outlets, there is also a plan to open 120 cloud kitchens. ऐसे ही हमें वो brand में वो frontage में invest ही नहीं करेंगे. We'll only invest in cloud kitchens because the delivery is happening through Zomato, Swiggy, and Zepto and Rapido. And
plus the biggest issue with QSR in big cities is the real estate cost. So if you reduce that cost, you become, you're optimizing your cost. And
exactly. So cloud kitchens are a
the
big
same
thing. Price. Also homegrown burgers or homegrown pizzas or whatever it is. Right? Your gourmet pizzas coming at a great price, which are competing, or a gourmet burger coming at a very good price relative to a premium burger from McDonald's. Serious competition.
Ajit Emmanuel is asking, are hospitals and hotels a big enough theme for the next decade?
Yeah, I think so.
Your view?
Yeah, I think so.
Your view?
But keep in mind valuations.
Your view?
I think hospitals for sure.
Why not hotel?
Hotels is more cyclical for me in that sense.
Always been, but last 4-5 साल से cycle दिख ही नहीं रही है.
हाँ, मतलब cycle नहीं दिख रही है, and the only fact is that the supply is much more slower than the demand which is there. So I don't know. There is still a cyclicality which comes into play, but I think hospitals are non-cyclical in that nature, from my point of view. Especially as we increase the healthcare thing, the high-end, revenues are going to come in much faster.
So look at valuations for both, and you can well decide between the two of them.
Hotels are expensive, by the way, so just bear that in mind.
Josie saying auto ancillary seems to be doing good while auto is said to be struggling. Why is it so? It's a good question actually.
Because मैं auto hang तो मैं सिर्फ Ola को supply नहीं कर रहा हूँ. My fortunes are not tied only to Ola. Just example, right?
Yeah, but overall volumes are also slower, right? In the sense, PV volumes are going down. We saw some good revival happening in two-wheelers, but it's still off the 2019 highs actually. And diversification of vehicles from ICE to EVs. So auto ancillary, role of auto ancillaries have also come down.
Yeah.
But still volumes are going up. I think many of them doing exports also. So that may be helping as well.
Yes. And so many auto hangs, by the way, now have a defense vertical.
Yes.
Like 50% of them would have a defense vertical now.
Yeah, that's true.
So therefore that is helping.
Increase in defense budget in Europe will benefit which Indian defense companies?
Everybody.
Vittal Lanke Nawar.
So Anushi has done a fabulous coverage on
Yeah.
this. I think it will be there on YouTube as well.
Yes.
You should
We should drop
see.
that in the link there.
If we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are looking at what yesterday. I think yesterday we were talking about it. That you were talking over the next 5 years, they will need $1.5 trillion or something.
1 trillion. 1 trillion annually, as per AI. Our research number was 500 billion. The AI number was 1 trillion.
But irrespective of that,
just 500 billion off.
No, I mean, that AI did the whole. I saw the methodology after the show, by the way, and they did the whole thing. Okay, the GDP of the NATO countries is this. 2% of that GDP is this. If they have to increase it to 5%, then it comes to this. Summation of all of this means an annual spend of 1 trillion. So it actually did a very good math.
Yeah,
you have to admit.
It's a very Excel sheet maths which has been done.
Yes, Excel sheet math. वो तो सब. But sell side sir करता है तो आप ना नहीं बोलते हो.
मैं तो सेल साइड को सवाल पूछता हूँ. ये सेल साइड को जाके बोलते क्या चाहिए ना बाय किया है तू बोला.
बट उनका काम वही है कि वो 905 को वो ब्रोकरेज नोट देते हैं और वो स्टॉक हिलता है. सिंपल है.
बट 500 billion is a huge opportunity for some of the Indian companies like a BEL and others. We spoke about some shipyards getting orders
and drone and
anti-drone things. So a lot of new companies. I think in the next 5 years, Niraj, a lot of defense companies will come to the market because they need capital. Scale-up capital is very, it's not there for many of the companies. So they will come to the market for that.
I want to highlight one question, which I found very interesting, and that's what I was Googling all this time. Trying to understand if there's a change in the tax regulation. Vimal Varshni is asking, given bonus and split in Bajaj Finance, I want to do tax loss harvesting. Can I sell the same on BSC and rebuy the same units on NSC on the same day? Will this work?
What is this actually? Sorry, what's it?
So, okay. Sorry, did you understand the question?
Yeah, I understood.
Okay.
I don't think it'll work.
No. For bonus, it works. For split, it doesn't.
Why?
I just Googled it.
Why?
Because that's the tax regulation. That's what the tax regulation says.
And
Vimal, we're not tax experts, but nonetheless, I will recheck this as well for you. But for the moment, from whatever I've read, your bonus
you cannot
shares,
do you cannot do same day.
You can't do the same day.
No, same day नहीं.
तो same day की बात चल रही है. मैं उसके लिए बोल रहा हूँ.
पर मैंने ट्वीट कर दिया है.
अच्छा चलो.
अगर तुमको टैक्स लॉस हार्वेस्टिंग करना है तो सेम डे ही खरीदना पड़ेगा ना सर. That is unfortunately the reality. So let's say okay. Fine.
No, you can't.
अगर आपने 6,000 रुपए में शेयर खरीदा है, right? आपका let's forget split because split में तो तुमको कुछ
6,000 का शेयर खरीदा तो 600 हो गया.
अभी 600 हो गया. For example, right? 600 हुआ नहीं है, बोनस कम है, but ठीक है, चलो 600 हो गया है. Let's assume 5,400 is your tax loss, which you can book. How will you book it without making any without really impacting your portfolio, you playing any trade?
You can't do intraday. It back, but you can't do intraday, no? Because then intraday trade, the stock stays into your account. It's counted as an intraday
That
trade.
Is correct. So I can't buy it on the BSE and sell it on the NSE. But what you can do, Vimal, is buy it in one demat account and sell it from another demat account. That
but
you
just
can
buy
do.
it the
You
next
can't do
day.
That also.
That you can do, sir.
No.
That you can do. That is
different folio,
treated
no?
as delivery.
Different folio.
Different folio, and therefore that's treated as delivery.
I think the simplest thing to do would be to sell today or whatever it is, buy the next day. At best, difference क्या 1-2% का आएगा यार, unless you are very unlucky.
Correct. So that is.
But yeah, talk to your CA, right? Talk to your CA.
But that is fantastic. Thank you, Vimal, for bringing that to notice because this is a great arbitrage to play. Actually, if you want to play, obviously.
News for AB Capital हो गया है, QSR हो गया है. There is okay. Hi guys, with new age brokerages like Zerodha, Grow, and Share India investing in MSCI, which is Metropolitan Stock Exchange, are they signaling a push for low cost tech driven alternative to NSE BSE duopoly? I think it goes a little beyond it, and Niraj, you step in here.
No, you. No, I want to hear you.
I from my point of view, it's all about two things which comes into play. One is that you have that low cost advantage of transaction, and the second is a liquidity pool which comes in. If you don't have a liquidity pool, no matter how good the tech platform you have, it's not going to work out because at the end of the day, investors will not come in. If you remember 4 or 5 years back, BSE was facing the same issue with respect to liquidity pool. They were trying to put in much more incentives for people to come and trade in FNO and every segment of FNO, and they were not able to get that. That happened after a shift which happened with respect to, I think we call it you can call it a pivot. Okay, they did a Tuesday thing, and that allowed people, and the cost of transactions also came in. So the technology, yes, plays a very big role. The question is that what is the pivot that they will have? Will they be able to get a new segment, or within the FNO or the cash market segment they are able to make a thing? The second challenge which they have is companies have to list on those exchanges. If you don't list on the exchanges, then it becomes very difficult for them. Today, most of the companies are under permitted category in MSCI. 260 companies are the one which are listed, but those are very insignificant companies in terms of volumes and other stuff. I was looking at the turnover of the company, not even 20 crores in the year, and loss making. And recently there was, as you said, 238 odd crores fresh equity infusion which happened through a private placement, and that too, I think early this year they did it in January. So yes, they have got the funds. Will they get that pivot to get a foot in the game? Is something which they have to do. What's your view? Means Zerola is betting, Grow, SharePoint, everyone has taken new stake in it. By the way, Ramesh Radhakrishnan Damani has a stake in it, and Nimish Shah, means the Inam founder, has through his family trust, I think 1.6% stake in the company.
I mean, always good to have competition. Sajeet would have the best fundamental view on this space. My limited view here would be that it's probably the first, MCX, for example, in that MCX stock exchange, there were block deals also done. And there was a lot of hope that MCX can be the third alternative. Somehow, it's not able to. Can a fourth exchange do it? I don't know. And remember, MCX had this pull with companies or brokerages when they said, okay, you're using our commodity trading screen.
Yeah.
You just have to supplement it with a stock screen, and still people didn't do it. So I don't know how much of a success it can be.
Yeah, means the entire concept of universal stock exchange, which allows you to go across commodities. Now, BSE and NSE is getting into electricity futures, and M6 has also launched electricity futures. I don't know how much they will be able to do it, because the clientele and the broker requirement for a commodity segment is a little different from an equity one.
मैं सिंपल एग्जांपल दूं इसमें. सिंपल एग्जांपल, जो लोग हमारे साथ बुल्स बैंड बैंटर पे जुड़े हैं, वो कहीं और क्यों जाएंगे? वो उधर ही हमारे साथ रहेंगे होपफुली. सो वैसे ही जो एनएसई में ट्रेड करे एनएसई पे रहेंगे. क्या बोलते हो सजीत? एग्री?
I think so. Unless they are able to create a new class of investors for them.
कौन करेगा नया बुल्स बैंड बैंटर?
नहीं बुल्स नहीं, मैं
अच्छा
एमएससी के बोल रहा हूँ.
Yeah, but so by the way, I know a very smart investor who was invested at much lower levels, sold out at higher levels, because the theory was this. I got this part of the theory from him as well, that नहीं है ज़्यादा, मतलब क्या पता.
Will Geo BlackRock be able to disrupt?
It could be interesting. Yeah, they got the financial power, muscle power, reach, and two big brand names. So can they do it? Sure.
But they will be more of a passive.
Entirely
passive, right?
Yeah.
And that's the plan.
But by the way, Geo Financials, without any fanfare, has taken his book to 10,000 crores within a year or two. Right? Means that's also credible and all secured book.
Zing in the stock.
Yeah, which is there. Capital markets question coming on your way, Niraj. Capital markets play like prudent have run up so much, while CAM's a proxy for MF play has been a range bound.
There's a difference. There's a difference in that
distributor or
like platform. That is not to say CAMs will not do well, by the way. Over a 10-year period, I think CAMs, CDSL, etc., everybody will do fabulously well, मेरे हिसाब से. But prudent is, I think, doing a lot of things on the wealth side as well to up their revenue quotient from what the market gives you plus, and maybe which is why it's getting the higher multiple.
There's a question which I don't know whether you are.
I'm sorry, CAMS is not growing at 25%. Prudent has said that we'll grow at 20-25%, which is why it's getting its premium. Sorry. Yes,
and CAMS gets the revenue only from active.
By the way, it's what, 12:45. Last question.
CAMS gets the revenue only when the clients are active. Otherwise, it doesn't get. It's a dormant thing which is there. Acha, Akhri question for you. Again, I don't know whether you will be able to answer that. Niraj, sir, how will the TBM delivery delay from China affect Ahmedabad Bullet project? timelines, earnings visibility, and stock performance of railway firms like
Sorry,
Ircon,
bullet train.
Bullet train.
So KYC kar lo idhar.
No, let's all of us opine. What's the question? It's an interesting one.
How will the TBM delivery delay from China affect?
TBM is the tunnel boring machine. If I'm not,
I'm sure you are right.
Impact Ahmedabad bullet train project, earnings visibility, and stock performance of railway firms like Ircon, IRFC, Jupiter Wagon, BMM.
Yeah, one of the things, not necessarily.
But we have TBMs in India. We don't have enough.
Even there's a delay. I think it's one of the many projects up the field. Yes. The heartening thing was, guys, very quick. I don't know whether you guys saw it or no, but yesterday or day before, Texmaco announced an order win. This is not an ordinary order win. Order win wherein there is a US company which is saying that or a global company which is going on and telling them that make parts and make these things, supply it to us. There is a maintenance contract as well. And when Texmaco presumably will build out this capability or capacity and do it for the global partner, they will do it for India as well. I think this is the not first, but one of the many proof of concepts of how Indian things done at scale are allowing these guys, railway, defense, etc., to make for the world.
On that note, before we end, I was speaking to the BML management when they came and met us, right? And I was telling them what are the challenges for India as a whole. He said, we can make everything. But today, there are two key challenges for them. One is forging in railways. We are importing most of the items from China for that. We have to create self-sufficiency for that. The second thing he spoke about, they said, like in aircrafts, we need to have our own engines. In railways, we need to have our own forging. If we don't have that, we have to start buying either from Slovakia or from Czech or from some China. So we are forced to do.
Amit Kalani ko bolte hain?
करने के लिए it's a big opportunity given the kind of capex which is coming in, which is.
Well, let's try and get Amit Kalyani and ask him what does he think of this. Maybe on Bulls Bear and Banter, Monday or Tuesday, a quick 5-minute phone. Let's try and do that. Okay, cool, perfect.
Chalo.
Okay, team.
Thank you, guys.